Serbians underground?
Oh yeah, I worked with some. I got along with them good. I went to school, all the way through school with them Serbs. I never had trouble with one of them in my life.
Were they pretty good workers?
Oh yeah. Well, these were all American born too, you know, that I was dealing with.
Yeah. And then what about the Finns? How are they for working
Oh, the
underground?
Finns good. Finns are hard workers. Yeah. You got quite a rig there.
Yeah, I hope it works. If you don't break my camera, it'll be fine. See yourself in there? Now, how about telling me from the start when your family came to Butte?
Huh?
When did your family come to Butte?
My grandparents
Yeah.
in the early 80s. I don't know the date. Oh, say 82, 83,
1882?
82 or 83.
And where did they come from?
Cornwall, England. They were Cornish.
And what were their names?
Huh?
What were their names?
Bowden.
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 What was his name?
James Bowden.
And her name?
Catherine.
So they came straight from Cornwall and started.
Huh?
They came straight from Cornwall.
I don't know. They may have stopped in Michigan. A
Yeah.
lot of them did. I'm really not. I think they stopped in Michigan, but I don't know how long or anything.
And how old was he when he got here?
How old were they?
Yeah. Were they kids or older? Or?
They were older. They got married right after they hit here.
Oh, so they married each other here.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they were married here.
Where'd they get married, you know?
I don't know.
So,
They lived straight over here on Summit Street. See, that's where they first lived.
mm-hmm.
That was down where that hole is now, you know. That wasn't like that, see. That wasn't low like that. This was a valley in here, this going up there to Senegal.
Uh-huh.
It was a valley. Well, they built up Main Street, see. Over there where they first moved in, I had a picture, but it took me too long to find it. They were in there, right over in there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another one in the wall. There was about 7 houses down in there one time.
Down in that hole next to Main Street.
There's a hole right over here.
Were they all Cornish?
No. At that time, see, they kept building up Main Street all the time for the cable car. See. You look right straight out here where this house is over. You know when you look right over to Main Street, right straight over there?
Yeah.
Well, they built a house in there, an engineer on the BMP, Madsen. Well, that's where they had a powerhouse for the cable car to Walkerville, see?
Okay.
And they kept building up Main Street for the cable car. And them houses that was in there, what they did was build another story on them. Now right straight across from where I lived down there was Buckley Saloon and another saloon, and there was a 2-story house, but they were all 2-story. When they were originally built, they were built on the grade, you know, that was in there, see. They built it up. As they build it up for the cable car, they had to put another story on every one. Maybe I could there one time. There's a Buffalo ore bin, see it? Sister, yeah.
What's her name?
Her name was Catherine.
Okay.
Catherine Harris. She never married. She was in the Army, a nurse. And she World War II. See, she was only, when my mother died, she was only 2 years old.
Uh-huh. So what did she do in World War II?
Huh?
What did she do in World War II?
She was in a hospital.
And so the houses up on Main Street behind her, that's Barnacote Flats on the left,
Yeah.
and then Walsh's house, and then there's a bar on the
Yeah,
right.
that's on Main Street, see?
And they're built up to a second story to accommodate Main. And they're on the west side of Main. Do you remember what the name of that bar is that we're looking at the back of? What was the name of that bar? Do you remember?
Buckley's. And the other one, I don't know. It had a lot of different
Okay.
names.
And then this
It
picture.
didn't run very much. Buckley's ran.
Okay, and then this picture is of your mother-in-law, Elizabeth Linville. And then the houses behind her, that big brick one is on the east side of Main Street.
Yeah, that was belonged to Mullen House. That was an apartment house.
Okay, and then the Main Street kind of took a turn around it,
It had a curve there.
but just two lanes wide, huh? And then there was two residences there that are also built up to 2 stories, and that's what it looked like from your house down in the gully there. What did you call that gully?
Huh?
What did you call that hole? What was the name of that? You know, where your house was, the gully.
What did they call it? It was
Yeah.
Summit Street.
Summit Street, huh? Okay.
Been called a lot of things.
Do you remember the time that the carload full of black men ran off the road and went down in the gully with you?
Yeah, I don't remember the year.
What happened?
Not much. There had been 2 or 3 of them were over there.
Well, so your family settled in down on Summit Street,
Yeah, my grandparents. And it
and
was in the 80s.
were they surrounded by Irish?
Yeah, there was Irish all over Summit Street. But I'll tell you, I was thinking of this the other day. See, I was born in Corktown, right in with the Irish, see?
What street were you on when you were born?
Minor Street.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's where I was born. They just tore it down a year ago and a guy built a new garage in there.
What was the address?
116. But I was thinking, Kevin Shannon is one guy that knows a lot of stuff, see? If you ever want to know about Corktown.
Right.
He's the one that knows a lot more than me because he lived there all the time. I lived there 5 years and we moved to Summit Street, see?
Yeah.
And,
What year were you born? When were you born?
1912, May the 31st.
1912, and you were born on Minor Street in Corktown.
Yeah, 116 Minor, May the 31st, 1912.
Well, how was it for a Cornish family to live in Corktown with all the Irish? What was that like?
You know, this came to my mind the other day. There was more Cornish people lived in Corktown than you really ever heard of. And there was but never any quiet. I was counting them the other night that I knew, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like Cleargate Street, if you want to count Cleargate Street from Main Street over,
Yeah.
you want to count there was about 3 Cornish families lived there, at least 3 to 4
Yeah.
through the years.
Yeah.
On Minor Street, there was 3 or 4. Summit Street had 3 or 4 or 5 maybe, you know. There was probably about 15, but just making a guess.
Mhm.
I don't know if they were all Cornish, but they weren't Irish
Yeah.
that lived there.
Yeah. Did they get along okay with the Irish?
Yeah, there were. I never heard of
There was
any
no
trouble.
problem. Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe that you're here in Corktown and how Irish and all of that. There were
Sure.
more living there than they really think. Now on Cleargate Street, there was the Rose. They were old people there for years. Then there was like 2 or 3 other families that lived on there. They may not have been Cornish or anything, but they weren't Irish.
Sure.
And on Minor Street, there was some old women right below, next to where I was born, named Sandow. Christ knows when they come there, they were old when I can first remember. And they were